Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Batcast, where I, Adam Upper, talk with Braydon Cuddy about Batman, the animated series. And this week's episode is The Island of Dr. Moreau 2. Moon of the Wolf. How you doing today, sir?
Happy Halloween, listeners.
Ooh.
I thought for a second, like, wait, did you do the Tiger episode again?
No, it's just like Rivers might have. I'm not sure if he was saying this before we started recording or during the record. That yeah, it was weird that there was like yeah these two episodes were like back to back.
And yet somehow are totally unrelated.
Yeah, so as I said, this week's episode is Moon of the Wolf. Is the 43rd episode produced, but the 36th episode to air, which had it air on November 11th, 1992, so like the day before my 12th birthday. So yeah, so wondering what I was doing on November 11th, probably wondering what I was getting the next day, I think probably. So, but what I did specifically on my 12th birthday, I don't think I remember either really. But yeah, because that was yeah, so I would have been 12, so I was 32 years ago. So, okay, so at this point, I can't really remember that far back, unfortunately. As much as I want my memory, as much as I want my memory to be good, it's not that good. So this episode was written by. Do you recognize the name of the writer for this episode?
Um,
Len Wein.
Len Wein sounds familiar. For a second, I thought it was Len Weissman. I'm like, isn't that the guy who wrote Underworld? That would have been ironic.
Yeah. No, but yeah, but for comic book people, yeah, Len Wein is the creator of Swamp Thing, and
Oh,
is a co-creator of Wolverine with John. I think it was John Romita Sr. I think.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So it's somewhat suiting that it was this is a weird like werewolf episode because it's Len Wein because he did the Swamp Thing and stuff. So I figured that was kind of suiting.
They definitely got kind of a horror, kind of universal horror kind of
Yeah,
vibe to his style.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, but yeah, so this episode starts off again like was this like at the another starting off in the zoo episode? I think
Well,
was it?
that's what I was like. There's a zoo guard because he's got like the word zoo on his uniform, but there's a lady jogging through what's seemingly a park. So I'm like, is this guy like in a zoo or is he just walking his dog like off
Yeah,
hours and wearing his uniform?
yeah. Now that you mention it, that is weird. Yeah, so unless it's like a zoo park where it's like the zoo is part of the park or something like that, maybe or something.
Maybe, yeah.
But even then, yeah, because like they used to walk with this dog, then the dog is starting to growl and stuff. So there's like kind of be like a little bit on edge, and then we hear some rhythmic noises and stuff coming through like the kind of dogs like uh, growling towards like to like a tunnel or whatever. And
Mhm.
then you just see like lady walking by, and my first note is this jogger Canadian? Because she's like at night in Gotham City, she's like, "Hi, random person with a dog," and just like keeps on running, just being like super nice.
Yeah.
So it must be like a Canadian or say somebody new to Gotham.
Either that or she's got that mace tucked away pretty well kept. But yeah, this was an interesting episode. Especially yeah, because it seems kind of a little beat for beat compared to Tiger. Uh kind of goes in the same direction of like an animal attack in the middle of the night. Because yeah, as you mentioned, this guy I think they said his name later on is John Hamner. He's walking his dog and the dog like hears something come from the bushes and out comes a hulking werewolf. So, first thing I want to note, I like the werewolf design in this. Um, he's got like glowing green eyes and like it's one thing to like have like a snarling beast, but to have like that salivating effect like around his jaws, like that's just that extra measure that I think works to just kind of up the creepiness factor. So I liked that. The werewolf movement was a little interesting, at least in this first scene I found. because he doesn't really kind of run like a wolf or like walk like a man. He kind of walks like a gorilla. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't quite catch that. No.
Yeah, he's kind of like his like shoulders are high up, and he's like, be Caesar, Caesar. Would
What a wonderful day.
yeah, Kevin Durant's giving them like
Yeah,
motion captures.
did you end up seeing that one that came out this
I
year?
did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think yeah, it was probably somewhat unneeded, but it wasn't a terrible movie, though.
Yeah. Oh, at this point, they are just milking that
Oh,
franchise for every
100%, yeah,
drop.
but yeah, it wasn't bad. But of course, so like the day I saw it, it was uh the Phantom Menace was playing at Scotiabank because it was like the 25-year like anniversary or some shit like that, or like back in May. So I went and saw that early because it was like the Thursday and had the day off. And then just as I was leaving that, just across the way, it was in the Ultra AVX theater was that because it was opening weekend. So I was just like, they have their drinks like behind the where you get the tickets that we out after you saw that. So I just refilled my drink and walked in. I had theater hops. Actually, I hadn't theater hops since they did the Star Wars like remasters they were showing that back in like 1997 or whatever, like the special editions, because like I tried to go to see those like when they came to the theater, but what was it? The first two that were sold out, so I ended up getting tickets for Dante's Peak and just fucking
Oh, nice.
jump theaters and so, I had theater hops since the last Star Wars movie, so it was kind of assuming that the fight went and saw Phantom Menace and just kind of theater hop from there.
There you go. You
Or
still get that.
I guess I shouldn't admit that on admit that on air on record that I've been theater hopping this year,
You got
but
the rebellious streak in you still.
no, it's just the goddamn tickets are so fucking expensive. So I was like, fuck
Well,
that, I'm not.
that's my argument. I like minimum wage theater guys, like they probably not paid enough to care. Like, whatever, man. Like, YOLO.
Oh yeah, they're probably yeah. Well, they're probably not paying enough attention to don't notice that I did it,
Yeah.
but but uh, but
I
yeah,
I did want to briefly touch on before we jump into kind of the meat of the story, the werewolf musical theme. Um, yeah, because I think like this is the first time we've had like kind of an electric guitar kind of cue into the music.
yeah,
Which I think like in the production notes it mentioned like was a deliberate choice of Bruce Timm's. But it kind of gave me vibes like you know the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman theme and like the
right. The
yeah.
Hans Zimmer, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like
or
it's like kind of cool. Like I
yeah,
dig it. It was just a little I wasn't expecting it like from
no,
like a werewolf episode.
yeah, it was it was a little different,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's this werewolf is attacking Hamner. That's when Batman literally appears out of nowhere. I mean, like, he doesn't swing out of the shadows. He just, like, you have the werewolf turn around and, like, hear Batman's voice, and he just
yeah.
roundhouse kicks him, like, right
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
face.
and I like the fact that at this point, like Gotham is so fucking weird that Batman just he is unfazed at the werewolves there. He just has like a Batman one-liner before he lands a kick,
Yeah.
and afterwards he's like, yeah, it's just like some guy in a mask, like a werewolf mask. I'm like, dude, it's like again, you're in Gotham City. It's not that fucking easy.
Well, especially given what he saw last episode. Like, I'm not sure what the release date
Or
is
in
in
any
this.
of the episodes we had previously. Yeah, just say.
But his girlfriend was turned into like a werecat like just a week ago. Like yeah, he's like trying
He's
to
like,
grab
again? What the hell's this?
yeah, he's trying to grab on. He's like, "All right, Shaggy, pull off the mask." And you know, like he's wrestling with it and the world's just like and he's just like he's he's not cluing in. I don't think he really clues in until like the end of the episode like, "Oh, this is a real werewolf." Like but yeah, they have their little tussle and after the werewolf like I think runs away and he afterwards like sees the security guard because I think that didn't he like kick the security guard and like into the river like the werewolf?
or something like that. Or I think he
Yeah,
got something like that. I think. Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
because off the bridge. Yeah, then Batman jumps in after him. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. What happened to the dog? Oh yeah, the dog just got like sideswiped by the werewolf.
yeah, I think yeah, at some point. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
then yeah, then after like I thought it was weird. Like after like they fight and then like the werewolf ends up escaping and stuff. That to go figure out to go figure out more about it, he actually goes to Commissioner Gordon. He's like, "Hey, dude, I just fought a guy with a werewolf mask. Does this seem weird to you? Do you know anything about this?" And they're like, I don't think that it doesn't seem like something worthy to go to talk to Gordon for. I didn't think
Well,
if you thought it was just some guy in a werewolf mask.
that's exactly what my thought was. It's like, okay, so like one, werewolf mask, two, it's just a mugger. Like I hate to break it to you, Batman, because I know that the sensitive topic of mugging is a little bit of a trauma point for you, but muggings happen every day in every major city. Like it's not to excuse it, but it is a sad reality.
This being in Gotham, like they said, like yeah, just like seemingly mugging. Yeah, I wouldn't be going to Gordon for you.
Yeah.
Unless the guy was like dressed up as like the Joker or something like that, and he's like, "Oh, we can't have people, worshiping him or something like that." But
Oh
just like a
gosh.
guy, if you just thought it was a guy on the werewolf, if it's an actual werewolf, if you thought it was an actual werewolf, then yeah, maybe. But if you just thought it was a guy in a mask, it, I felt it didn't make sense.
Well, speaking of the Joker, hey, Joaquin Phoenix did warn us back in that movie. You know, Thomas Wayne thinks that we won't go werewolf and go wild, and remember that bit when he's before he like blows Robert De Niro's head off.
I,
So I guess
I,
this was
I
a.
I actually I didn't see the first Joker
Oh,
movie
that's
either,
true.
so
Well,
so
don't watch the second because
oh,
I was
oh don't
unfortunate
worry.
enough to not take Rivers' warning.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear some like, notes on that, you can check out our Discord. But yeah, don't waste your money. But yeah,
Oh,
back to Moon of the Wolf. Yeah, he's talking to Gordon and Gordon's like checking his files and he says the closest thing that has happened it's like remotely to like a wolf is these like missing Alaskan timber wolves from the Gotham Zoo. So Batman, yeah, like I was expecting Gordon to like turn away and like Batman to disappear, but like no, you see him casually, like slowly making his way to the we for the split second there, we see the process of Batman like leaving the room, and
yeah,
it's not like
because he like opens the window and stuff when
yeah,
he's talking to they just don't see him like do like the final like eighth of the thing and just jump out, yeah, and do the and do like that back grapple or whatever,
yeah. It
yeah.
was very anticlimactic but funny at the same time. And then he turns to Gordon, he's like, "You know, I just had a crazy thought. What if this was an actual werewolf?" It's like really not remembering what happened like 7 days ago. Like,
Or in in the original airings, yeah, it was probably like the next day because
yeah.
this is airing daily, yeah. So
Oh yeah, that's the other thing I forgot. Yeah, like thinking back to like when I watched this for the first time was and why I binged this show was yeah, it was like almost daily. Like he was like a
or like the first season or the first bit of the first season, yeah, was airing like daily, yeah.
yeah, it was Batman binge fest.
No, no, no,
So
no, 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 no.
is that when they show oh yeah, Dr. Bullcut's back.
Yep.
Achilles Milo, he's like holed up in some like random shack and the werewolf comes back to him because I guess this is his. So I we I think can correlate at this point in the recap that this is not some mystical process, that this is in fact like mad science. Once again, why is this not Emil Dorian, considering where we came back from? But yeah, Achilles Milo has made the jump from super rabies to lycanthropy. and we see him talking to this individual as he's like reverting from the werewolf form to human form, and he says like, I was trying to get the guy, but Batman got in the way. Milo's like, him again, and he's like, well, I'll put a rest to that. Like, I'll just have a new target for you. So here's where I'm gonna get with like I think this is a good, interesting premise. I think that like this is a an interesting rogue to have Batman go against with like a werewolf and kind of that you know old style horror, but adapted to a kids format. The problem is again kind of like the cape and the cowl conspiracy was the failed potential because it doesn't take much stretch of the imagination when you can literally see in the background who this guy is in human form. Cut to Bruce talking to a man in the gym who looks exactly like this person, whose name is Anthony Romulus. And if you guys know anything about your Roman history, you know Romulus and Remus were the founders of Rome, who were raised by I think it was like a she-wolf, and I don't remember the whole story, but
It's
anyway.
it's Romulans and Vulcans. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
I was like, we're either getting Harry Potter or we're getting Star Trek. But what's funny is I thought that this was like an original character, but apparently this is like a character from the comics. It's just like a one bit character. The
Yeah,
only
because
dip
I think they adapted like a story like that Len Ryan like a Batman story that Len Ryan wrote. I think.
Oh, so he was brought
Uh,
in for this as well. Okay.
I think so. I think so. Yeah,
Makes
if I
sense.
remember. Yeah. So
The only thing that's funny is that in the comics, his name is not Anthony Romulus, it's Anthony Lupus, which again, Latin for wolf. Like,
and if anybody knows Doctor House, we all know it's
yeah,
not lupus.
it's not Lupus. I was like, one of us is going for a house joke there. Yeah, it's never Lupus. It will sooner be an actual werewolf than Lupus.
Didn't they just like write it in that like one episode actually was lupus?
There's at
Just,
least one Lupus episode, and like,
just yeah, I think they put that in just for that joke, just
yeah.
the one time it actually is, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like House was like pissed off at the end, like, ah, stupid Lupus. It's like just because you say it's not Lupus doesn't mean that Lupus isn't out there. What is his life mission? To disprove Lupus? Like, how did Lupus hurt you?
No,
Like,
it's just like that. People don't come to me for lupus.
I come here to give you Lupus. You know what? Knowing House, he probably would. So yeah, we have Bruce talking with Anthony Romulus, who's like this Olympic athlete and has like the strongest unibrow I think I've ever seen on a character. Yeah, and they're talking to it's either like a friend of theirs or their trainer, and did he say he was gonna give like a check to Batman, like a charity check?
Yeah, he said he was going to like double the charity,
That's it.
the money he was going to give to whatever charity it was if Batman came to pick it up, like came to his apartment or whatever to pick it up.
Yeah, because Batman's all known about that PR stuff. Like, yeah, Romulus is like, because I want to meet Gotham's second greatest athlete.
Yeah, and
And
then I was going to say no, fuck, I just was going to say something was weird, but I just totally fucking lost my thought there for a second. Sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say,
Oh no, like yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's like how was the like he said there was like a former Olympic athlete. Like how does an Olympic athlete have like $1 million, let alone $2 million to be able to double his dude just so he can meet Batman? So
yeah,
because I'm fairly certain we all know that like it's well known that the Americans don't pay their Olympic athletes all that much money. So
I remember hearing about the cardboard bed thing. and like thinking that's such a like stretch of like imagination, and then like somebody showed like no, this is true. Like I still don't understand the rationale for the cardboard bed thing.
I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess Bruce is like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to, like go pick up a check. And he looks so miserable about it too. It's like, oh, stupid pick up a check. It's like, would you rather be shot at by the mob? Like,
This is not why he became Batman for is to pick up checks. That's why I'm Bruce for. Like, fuck.
I'm here to
This is
pick up
Bruce's job,
chicks,
not
not checks.
this is Bruce's job, not Batman's.
Yeah. But yeah, and it cuts briefly to the Batcave where Batman's watching the Discovery Channel. He's like hearing this documentary about like wolves, and like the narrator
We,
sounds so
baby, ain't
bored.
nothing but mammals.
Yeah, yeah. The narrator for this documentary sounds so bored. It's like timber wolves will tend to hunt in packs, and they will forage and find ways of survival. And why did Deborah leave me? And she took the
Well,
kids
about tracks
too.
for documentary stuff, really. So it's fairly on point, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, so I believe that's when we cut then to so like what why was he was just learning about the Timberwolves, right? Like there wasn't any like relevant information other than just
Well,
talking.
yeah, because you said that when he was talking to Gordon, yeah, the closest thing was the was a missing Timberwolves,
Right.
and then when he was reaching for the windowsill, he noticed the hairs, and he's like, that's when he's
That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, because he was
what if
talking to Alfred about the hairs.
he's like, what if it actually was a werewolf or whatever sort of thing? So I guess probably that's what got him thinking about that. I think.
Yeah. And yeah, because he sees the hairs in the back cave, he's analyzed them. He's like, yeah, this is like actual wolf DNA. So like this very well could be like an actual like wolf man.
Yeah,
And so Batman goes to Romulus's house and goes to pick up the check, and Romulus is like, "Yep, let me just sign it here. Would you like a drink?" And as he's doing that, he hits a button. It locks the door, and Batman's
with the windows,
yeah, the door, the
the
windows,
window
and
latch.
yeah, so Batman's just kind of like, "Can we hurry up?" He's like, "Just a minute here." And he's like, "Is it getting hot in here?" He's like, "Well, I do have that effect on women,
I
but
am getting so hot, I'm
yeah,
gonna cry so around now.
ladies love the unibrow." So, he's like pumping gas into the room or something, right?
Yeah, which never made sense because they how is he not passing out though? Because he didn't show him like
I didn't think of that.
plugging his nose to be like, hey, so now I'm not breathing it in, even though I breathe through my mouth mostly, or have like does not like a invisible mask or something like that, and so he's just like, what is this like an only Batman gas?
Well, and it can't be like, like because of his like werewolf condition, like making him immune to it because Milo walks in the room like 2 seconds later when
Yeah,
Batman hits the floor.
yeah. So, oh yeah, so it's the only thing. Yeah, so then yeah, Batman just goes with it, and then yeah, it passes out, and then yeah, they take his bat belt off and taking him away.
And yeah, so that's when we get Batman. So I think it was like a track that this shed was on, like a racetrack, and Milo has like chained Batman to like the ground outside, and he wants to sick the werewolf on Batman. I'm like, because he says he wants to study the wolf's full potential on against Batman, but it's like, okay, but you're chaining Batman. It's like if, like, I get it. He's wanting revenge on Batman after the last time they crossed paths, but like, you can't say you want like, if I wanted to research like a wolf attacking a deer, like I'm gonna set the deer free. I'm not gonna like, tie it to a tree and watch the wolf ravage it. Like that teaches you nothing.
And we also saw Jurassic Park, so we know that totally works out when that happens.
Oh yeah. And yeah, this will totally go in Milo's favor, as we will soon find out, because we have this exposition scene of kind of
Yeah, because
how
this is where they flash back to how he turned into the werewolf initially or whatever.
yeah. And yeah, so it sounds like Romulus, like when he was still in like kind of his athletic career, he wanted something that would give him the edge, like on his
Oh yeah, yeah, he said he was doing all his training, but it wasn't enough, so he needed
yeah.
something better. So he got a bad bowl cut to make him some undetectable steroids. But yeah, I'm no chemist or biologist, but I'm fairly certain for steroids, it's used testosterone and not estrogen. No?
Well, yeah, because like they said estrogen was from like the wolf DNA, which made me laugh because like all those alpha bros who are getting that like logic from like, the wolf pack thing,
Yeah.
it's like you guys do realize if this is in fact true, that you're trying to model yourself off of something based on estrogen. So suck it. But yeah, I think personally, like Milo is like the Thomas Edison of Gotham's mad scientist community because I refuse to believe this guy made the jump from super rabies to werewolf serum. Like, I'm pretty sure what he did was he just like broke into like Dorian's lab and like stole one of his like many formulas. And now
or
Dorian's
or
like,
reworked Langstrom's
yeah.
formula from bats to the that's where he stole the wolf the timber wolves.
That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Like Batman has a hard time believing in like werewolves, but he's fought what is basically a vampire. Like,
No, it's a man bat. It's not a vampire. Yeah, that's why more that's Morbius. No, we know he wait. Morbius is a living vampire. He's not quite that. So think more Morbius instead of man bat
well, and
for
what's
vampire.
interesting on the note with like Dorian is, yeah, like did you read the Batman Adventure comics, which was kind of like a continuation of the show?
I did not know.
I caught like a little bit of like some of the images and stuff, like not enough to like, great detail, but ironically enough, number 21, like Anthony meets both Tigress and Emil Dorian. Like they're trying to find like a cure for like their like conditions. So like these guys do in fact cross paths because like unfortunately like this character doesn't show up again. But it's kind of interesting. Like they decided to make a fork in the road where there was no need to make a separation between these like kind of two different origin stories, only to meet again and then just completely like call it a quits there. Like again, I would love to know the writer's process when they're kind of putting themselves in a box that no one asked them to be put in. Like it's it's like your guys are kind of working a little too hard here. But yeah, so Milo, yeah, he's invented this serum that he says like, will be untraceable. And so Romulus just snatches it right out of his hand and chugs it. And Milo's just kind of like, hey. And then he's just,
He's like, "Hey, I haven't tested that." He's like, no need for testing. Not, hey, I'll take that now. Give me. And
yeah.
then he kicks ass at like at all the events because he's doing all of them by the looks of it. After he does that, yeah, and then I guess that's how he makes his money with like endorsements and all that stuff after for kicking ass. And
And then
then
he got kicked out for smoking weed when he, was like swimming.
or he got or he just got pretended that he got robbed or something like that or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that fucking Ryan Lochte guy did or whatever.
No, he tried to cheat at breakdancing. That's what happened. I love the fact that we introduce breakdancing into the Olympics only to immediately say this was a stupid idea given how it turned out. It was a stupid idea before you did it. Like, why is this an Olympic sport? Next Olympic sport, we shall hunt the dangerous game of all, man. So yeah, Milo was like, like you did well, but like you never gave me my cut of the profits. I I'm kind of with Milo on this, man. Like he's like I guess he is kind of like, like the allegory of a drug dealer, but like because Ramos is like it was my sweat that did all this, and it's like it is also his medicine that got you through this, so I think you owed him a little bit. Like I get that, it's a shady business, but you're the one who wanted in, so and he literally kicks Milo down the stairs, and Milo's like, you're gonna regret that. So we never get like a real explanation as to what actually they never really did like make any correlation with like the werewolf and like the full moon, right? Like
No,
the
I don't
episode's
think
called
so.
Moon of the Wolf, but it's literally just a coincidence as far as we can tell. Like unless there
Yeah,
is like some correlation between
yeah,
like
because I think the only references was really was Bullock at the end. He's like, "Oh, it's a full moon tonight, so it's another. You got another 4 weeks, and we'll find out if he actually is dead or whatever." I think was the only time I remember there was any mention of the moon that I
yeah.
remember in the episode.
I was thinking because like of this like experimental steroid. What if Bane had gotten his hands on this like werewolf thing? Because he's into that kind of stuff. You merely adopted the estrogen. I was born with it, molded by it. No one cared who I was until I grew a tail. So yeah, halfway through the night of this flashback, Romulus just he doesn't go full werewolf. He kind of goes into what I call Zach Galifianakis mode. Like he's just like crazy, like Sasquatch Harry. And yeah, he goes to Milo like what did you do to me? He's like, you pumped yourself with werewolf DNA. What did you expect? And what's funny is he says like you've got what I call like werewolfism or lycanthropy. And so he's like, I can't make so basically what Milo says, I can't reverse the effects, but I can make them worse. And so that's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what he
oh yeah.
does.
He's like, I can't cure the slight version of this, but the major version of this I can totally do. So this will totally work. So totally trust me.
How many werewolves has Milo made? Like,
No, but like that. But if you just listen to what he said, that doesn't make sense. Like,
no.
like the slate version, I can't do nothing. But like the all the way version, I can't cure the 5% of you, the five
Yeah,
percent of this, but the 100% of this, I can totally fix.
yeah. I can't cure your arthritis, but I can cure Lou Gehrig's disease.
Your super arthritis, yeah, it's totally fine. But
Oh
I think
man.
it's like, but I guess it's like the allegory of like the addict or whatever it is. Like you try to reason with him, he's like, there's no reason there. He's like, just give me the thing, and he just took more. Yeah, that just turns him turns into a full werewolf.
Yeah, yeah, he doesn't learn his lesson. He just
Yeah,
shoves it.
just like in Tropic Thunder said, like you never go full werewolf.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm a dog playing a dude playing another dog. Yeah, so Milo's like basically got him on a kind of a thing where a little like the Clayface storyline with the addiction because like Romulus wants more of the formula. He's like literally like just give me a drop, and he's like not a chance. So he locks it in the safe and says, I want to see the werewolf, the fury of the werewolf unleashed on Batman. So I believe is that when we show Bullock at the zoo? Like he's literally just broken in the zoo in the middle of the night.
Or I mean the park zoo that anybody can walk around in.
Yeah,
So
assuming that's what the case is. Like, yeah, because I guess this Hamner guy was like on Milo's payroll because I guess that he was like letting the okay. Did
I know, like I know, I think he was working the night that the tigers or the wolves
Yeah,
going
that's what
that
it was.
so like when that Bullock was talking to him, he's like, yeah, he just said leave it unlocked and look the other way. He's like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't know they would disappear when somebody said lock the one thing that hit the one thing that went missing. That
I
Nate's
just
would
thought
never
they
know.
wanted killer wolves. Like
They
it was
just
a
want to hang.
victimless crime.
So I thought I thought they just want to hang out for a bit. They just wanted to pet. They wanted to pet that dog. It's not a bear, so it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to pet.
I've seen Game of Thrones. I know wolves are cool. Yeah, so that's when I think there's a he's like going to arrest like Hamner for this, and we cut back to the shed where Romulus has started to like go into werewolf mode. And he's like, Milo, you have to help me. And Milo's like, ask me if I care. And it's like, you're gonna care when he tries to maul your face off, which is exactly what he tries to do. Like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah, because he can kind of control the human aspect of it and stuff, just because they're kind of dealing with like an addict sort of thing. So yeah, but once he turns werewolf, man, like yeah, there's no that I'm guessing like the human side of the brain's not going to be there either. So you can't
no,
really try and reason with that part. So
like
so you're
you'd
just
think
asking
you'd
for
put like an
trouble
electric shock collar or
or
something on him
something.
to,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like something to like, like you do realize like you don't have a dog whistle, you don't have a leash, like you have no means of controlling this thing. And then when it goes to like, try and rip open your like intestines, you're gonna be like, well, I had no means of, protecting myself.
yeah.
So yeah, of course he goes against goes on Milo and he's like, "Can't we talk about this? You're gonna talk to the werewolf? That's your plan?" Like, yeah, let's just sit down, like have a cup of tea, like you idiot.
Yep.
And so Batman's trying to escape, and I think he manages to get out just in time as the werewolf is coming for him because he briefly like knocked Milo out. I'm surprised he didn't kill him, but yeah. We have a brief fight between Batman and the werewolf. I liked the end part of the fight. I thought it was a little tit for tat with kind of the main fight of it. Because like you could have had some creative things with a Batman versus werewolf fight, right? Like there's like like think of like this guy's supposed to be like the world's greatest fighter, and like all he's really doing is just dodging it. Like I don't know. But I did like the part where like he just like jumps out of the way and like the werewolf like smacks his face into the iron bar. Like that was funny. Like bonk.
Not too smart there, are you,
Yeah.
Wolfie?
Yeah, Batman's just mocking this werewolf the entire time. Like maybe you shouldn't have a dog, Batman. Like
Yeah, like yeah, like if the fight went any longer, you just pulled like the Dr. Hibbert and just put up the Matt had like the empty picture frame, just be like donk and punch him in the face.
Oh boy. Yeah, are we getting a you would probably know this. Are we getting a new Treehouse of Horror special coming up?
I would assume so, but I haven't been working the cities much recently, so
That's
like
fair.
but I would assume that because like I think the new season did start recently, so I would assume so that would be it should be coming up, yeah.
I wonder if The Simpsons has done The Purge yet.
Oh, I'm
They
sure
had to have by
oh,
now. Like,
I'm sure.
yeah. Like what else is left to do? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so Bullock is seeing Batman and the Wolf on top of this it's like the top of the arena, and for some reason there's a crane there, and it'll turn out to be Chekhov's crane in just a moment. But yeah, they're watching Batman tussle with the werewolf, and yeah, like these guys are ready to shoot the wolf, and like Gordon Bullock of all people is like, hold your fire. Like you'd think he'd be trying to take a shot at Batman, but I guess he doesn't want Gordon breathing down his neck. It's like, ooh, I missed. Like, but
And side note, yeah, yes, there is Treehouse of Horrors this year. Sorry, airing on November 3rd. It's be Treehouse of Horrors 35.
they're doing it in November.
Well, yeah, yeah, because yeah, it's usually like the episode after Halloween, yeah, for the
Oh,
last
really?
number of years, yeah. So, but yeah, no, yeah, number yeah. So Treehouse of Horrors 35. So let's see.
Interesting.
So it's monsters created by political rage threaten to tear the town apart. Mr. Burns is
They're
jump
going
scared on,
January 6th on The Simpsons.
and Mr. Burns is jump scared on Thanksgiving by ghosts of his workers. And Homer bonds with a pair of jeans in a stop motion adventure that can only be called denim.
So we're going for the Capitol riots and Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants for our Halloween.
And
All right.
and which what is it like the Muppets? So like the Christmas and the Christmas Carol by the sounds of it. Yeah, if it's the Mr. Burns one by the sounds of it, almost. But yeah, so yeah, so
Not
what if
not
I'm
to put down the dog metaphor, but like this, I think the Simpsons need to be put to sleep, man. Like the jokes will live on, just not new ones.
wonder if I'm working. If I'll be at work that night when there's what did I say? November 3rd.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nope. I will be off that day, so Owen has to watch it on Disney Plus.
There you go. But yeah, so there's this brief fight between Batman and the werewolf, and he grabs the end of the crane and like hucks it at him, and like slams into the werewolf's like abdomen, and like sends him flying. And this lightning storm appears literally out of nowhere, and just strikes the chain,
It-
electrocutes the
yeah, yeah,
werewolf.
yeah, yeah. Best timing ever. Yeah, and there's a distraction measure. Yeah, uses the Mjolnir and calls down the thunder.
Thor owes me a favor.
Or I'm seeing Storm on the side.
Yeah, she's an 11 like me. And I guess the werewolf just like like kind of like flew off into the darkness like after it got knocked away there, because I don't remember exactly what happened except
Yeah, because I think that I think Bullock says like that. Yeah, they wonder if they're dead or whatever. He's like, oh, that's I think when he said like, oh, we'll find out find out in 4 weeks because that's when the next full moon is to see if he turns back into a werewolf and starts attacking people or whatever. So that's how we'll find out if he's if he's dead or alive or not or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. And then we
basically.
have that brief clip of the mansion that like Romulus lived in is up for sale because the real estate agents like he just like randomly left town,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
the
it
house
just
is here to
doesn't.
pay off the creditors.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this was also like a missed opportunity here because like even briefly they established that this guy is like a friend to Bruce Wayne, Anthony Romulus. And yet, as far as I can tell, Batman never figured out that Romulus and the werewolf were the same person. Like he clearly realized that like he was up to no good with, the knocking him out with the gas, but that doesn't mean he's gonna realize you're a werewolf. Like so yeah, like as far unless he like figured it out like in his off time, Batman never figures out who the werewolf is. Like,
Well, I think it'd be Batman. I could kind of assume that he probably did. Yeah, I would
yeah.
think more than anything.
But yeah, so we have a closing shot of the Wolfman howling at the moon. So yeah, I guess Bullock was right. The full moon does have an effect on him, or I don't know, maybe he's just trying to cash in on those Universal horror movie rights. I don't know.
Yeah. So,
But
yeah, so would you give this episode out of five estrogen steroids?
I am going to give it I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Only for like pushing it over the 2.5 mark for the werewolf design. Because yeah, I think this is a good premise. I just think that it's a half-baked execution. I think that like a lot of things were kind of left a little too open-ended. And yeah, like I think like there could have been more opportunity here. And I don't understand why the writers would make more of an effort to come up with a story when like they literally had one last week that would have fit the narrative. How about you?
And I say, yeah, I think I'll give it a 3 out of 5 as well. It's just like an okay like filler episode, but it was a little weird that it was like the episode right after Tiger, and it's another like changing it into like basically another human changing it into an animal sort of thing. So I think I spaced it out a bit more. That it might have scored an extra point 0.5 maybe, maybe up to a 4, but give it a yeah 3 out of 5. Oh, yes. All right, everybody. That is the episode for this week. Thanks, everyone, for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series. And next week's episode will be Day of the Samurai. Hey, you can follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond the Batcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Batcast, and we are on YouTube now at youtube.com/ at Beyond the Batcast. So check us out there. You can subscribe there or and rate reviews and subscribe there or wherever you find your podcast. It'll help us out. And where can we find you on the internet, Braden?
You can find me on Instagram at Alfred is Daddy.
Oh, is
And
that
you can also find us on the Facebook page, Beyond the Backcast, and please join our Discord. We'd love to talk to you about all things Batman. And yeah, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the Penguin Show, as it's probably coming towards the end of its run by the release of this episode. But yeah, it's like one of the best shows on TV right now, and it's the closest to a Batman movie that we will get for probably at least a couple years. So yeah, it's worth a talk.
So you can follow me on Instagram at some drunkman. And as I said, thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman the Animated Series. And goodbye, good chums. Kapow.